All right, I'll do my little official intro. Welcome, everybody, to the Athens Dev Meeting. It is July 26th. Thank you all for coming. And I will put the agenda in the Zoom chat. As always, same thing. So we've got a couple bullets on this list, and let's just go top to bottom. So Marwan, you have a bunch to start off with, so go take it away.
Sounds good. They're basically just questions from, the last week of development and between Athens and Go itself, or at least the Go module so far. So the first one is, should Athens do validation in Go.sum, or does command Go handle all of this? That's really just a question. I kind of have no idea. So if anybody knows anything about this, we shouldn't really spend that much time on it unless someone knows the answer.
I have a question about your question. Yes. When you say validation, would that be if Athens does a cache fill to grab something? And then is that when you were wondering if it should do validation?
It's a general question for the whole ecosystem. So you could look at a scenario when we've filled a cache and someone is trying to pull it, but maybe the remote has changed something, or maybe we want to constantly check the checksum of packages that we have to make sure nobody's messing around with upstream, or just do we need to be mindful of checksums at all in the Athens system?
Gotcha.
Or do we delegate that to Go?
I think as long as we do relegate it to the Go modules toolchain, then we will be fine. And the reason that I'm guessing, educated guessing that, is because there's going to be some work that goes in around provenance. And that work will almost certainly touch the GoSum file. So it's probably better we just relegate it to the CLI, because then we'll get all that goodness whenever it comes in.
What is provenance? I'm not
this is basically code signing, like chain of trust for the code to come down from the VCS.
Sounds good. Cool. So that's good enough for me. It's just so we can I'll answer it here. So answer is wait.
Yeah, by far not definitive. I don't mean to say no. That's just what I heard.
Sounds good.
To Russ.
Okay, so the second one is, should we have the option to turn off proxy caching? So why duplicate all that pressure space since the proxy can just redirect to registry? I've tested the redirect a bunch of times. So it clearly works fine. When the proxy just issues a 304, 301 to Olympus, then I'm just assuming should we have the option to just not even store anything in the proxy, since if things are stored in the registry, why duplicate a big module? Why duplicate all these hundreds and potentially tens or hundreds of gigabytes twice? I'm curious if people have there's already an answer, or people have an opinion.
+1. We already have the opposite, to never go upstream. So why not have the always go upstream thing?
Yeah, it's just honestly, it's a matter of cost. It's just duplicated space.
Yeah.
Purpose of having a proxy if you're not caching it, I guess, would be a quick question. Is it the filtering aspect of it?
So the proxy could potentially be for private modules, which can be cached, right? But then if you're pulling the Kubernetes client or something, you don't need to cache that. Maybe just cache your private enterprise modules. So there's still sorry, was your question why would you need a proxy?
I guess the question was, if you're not caching, why would you need a proxy? But it's a private, right?
Yeah. So a lot of other things, maybe blacklisting modules, right? That is just best practice for a company. Don't ever use Go bin data, as opposed to maybe some other companies are okay with that, stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah.
I've seen a topology with Artifactory, in which basically that was a bastion host to the outside world. So it really was a matter of HTTP proxying and nothing to do with like the Java dependencies world.
Mhm.
So that's a possibility too.
Okay, yeah. I don't think it's crazy to disable the caching in it. We have the option to, right? We're not forcing anyone to do anything.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think we'll have to just let the community decide on what the default should be, because I have no idea. 'Cause I know, like, for me, I know what I would want. I think, some people are similar, but there are millions of topologies that we have no idea about. Or maybe you guys do. I have no idea. So.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Okay.
Cool. So I will update that as well. Or you're
Beat me to it.
So yeah, okay, sounds good. I have two more. One is, should the /list endpoint even look at storage? I know we have a lister interface for the storage. We might potentially use that for other things, but my understanding is that when Go asks the proxy or anything really for the /list endpoint, it's always looking for the most up-to-date upstream list. So why do we even go to storage? Because we're always going to need what's currently available from upstream.
That's a really good question.
I'll take that as a yes.
What do folks think? I have no idea.
Yeah, I think once you start, I mean, I even like copied and pasted and used it, and it made sense to me. Even when you have like certain, maybe when you have like private modules, but usually your private modules are in a code hosting site anyway, so it still has an upstream. The only time I think it might be useful to have list look at storage, if you have modules purely in storage. Like if we ever have a feature where it's like your code is not even in a code hosting site, it's just in storage. Maybe that's when it works, but I don't know if that's even planned.
To that, it's not really planned, but I would love us to get there like V2 or something.
Yeah, so it might be good for now just to remove, or at least if I have my list PR coming up soon, won't even have storage there.
Okay. We could put a lister into like the module package, maybe.
Yes, that's sort of what I was kind of doing, but I'll open the PR and obviously, everyone can pick at it.
Sweet.
All right, so my last one is it's just kind of a thought. Oh, before the answer, sorry. So
we're working, everyone from the conference.
Hybrid sync async cache filling on scope processing can redirect Go to VCS. Basically, now that we have sync, we're all good. We're never gonna have to do we're always gonna wait and fill something. But if Go, which it plans on 1.12 to support 404, would it be okay to have some sort of hybrid sync and async things based on maybe performance and efficiency? I don't know. I'm not sure. This was just kind of like, should we just completely forget async? Because if we can tell Go to go fetch something on its own, but at the same time, we're also fetching it to fill our own cache, then we split the time in half, right? So we do a 2x at the very least performance gain. That's the only reason I see this being helpful in the next 6 months whenever Go supports that. But otherwise, we may not need to. I don't know. Just kind of a thought that I put there.
That's interesting.
Right. So maybe if it's, let's say if it talks to the GitHub API, it's always sync because the GitHub API is fast. But if it's like maybe if we want to do a go get, we'll tell the Go CLI to do a go get on its own, but then we'll also do a go get for our cache at the same exact time. Right? So the user's computer, like the user's local machine, is going to do its own go get, but then our server is also going to do a go get. And this could be asynchronous, like we return a 404 until something is filled.
Yeah. My initial like gut is that the benefit, the speed up is not worth the extra complexity, because that is really going to happen approximately once per package globally.
Right. That's a good point.
So like before, I was like all about async, and then I slowly and stubbornly started to realize like, oh, okay, well, it's a lot of work that like a lot of thinking that I'm making everyone go in and do just to solve like this one case, like one approximately one person right when a new module version comes out. So my gut is like, let's not deal with async right now. And let's try to solve it with A, just saying, well, it's not that big a deal. And B, maybe writing a crawler in the medium term to deal with this in the registry. And then C, like you just touched on this earlier, allowing people to publish their code to the registry or to the proxy so that we don't even have this problem anymore.
Sounds good. Yeah, I think for now we can put the whole async thing on pause once the go get stuff gets merged in. I know we have a bunch of code when it comes to the workers that will queue up cache filling, and it's all async, and it's all about like running jobs in Go routines. I guess that's where my question is. Maybe we can now just leave it as is, unless someone volunteers to like clean it up and remove it. Or maybe just keep it for a while because we might need it later or never. But at least that's sort of where the question came from.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Okay, well, let me propose one. I will clean it up. I'll remove it and clean it up and everything. But we can, obviously it'll be in our commit history. But also I have example code for it already, just in my private or in my personal org or whatever it is in GitHub. So I'll just copy that code into that repo so that we just still have it. And if we want to do more async stuff later, which we will for like multi-cloud registry stuff, we'll have that code ready to kind of copy and paste back in.
Cool. Sounds good. That's all from me.
Okay. Oh, cool. So is that like that proposal? Is that fair, you think?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, we're not using it, so if you're volunteering to clean it up, that sounds great to me. I'll
Okay.
take
I already have to clean up PKG repo. That package is, I am trying to replace that package with the stuff that I moved in to PKG module in that PR that we're going to try and hopefully, cross your fingers, get merged today.
Yes.
So I already have to clean up that stuff. So I'll open a ticket like right after this, and I'll open it for cleaning up that and also cleaning up the background worker stuff after synchronous fill gets finished.
Sounds good.
I'm going to write that down actually. Okay. Coolio. This is my only thing is that Big Kahuna issue, and I'll paste the link. It's issue number 290, and I just wanted to update kind of what I'm thinking and what I'm trying to do on it. So the goal is, like we were just talking about, the goal is to get synchronous fill done. Once we have that done, Marwan, I know you've been into this too. Once we have that done in the proxy, we can get like a full end-to-end thing working. So it would be, run the proxy, do a go get whatever module at version, it won't be in the proxy's cache, and the proxy will go and fetch it and then put it in the cache and then return. That's like a naive kind of algorithm because it's not going to do any concurrent cache fill and return. But it will, like, that'll be the foundation, and we can set up CI around that. And we can write docs around that, which Carolyn has provisionally volunteered to do, I guess. And I think it'll be like a good time for us. We can start getting feedback from people to see, like, is this how I want the proxy to look? Is this how I want it to work? And so forth. So anyway, that's what the issue is. That first PR, number 291, I think it is. Yeah, PR number 291. That is a refactor to move the go get fetcher code to a new place and make it easier to work with in terms of an HTTP handler, so that, like, the .info handler can easily call that thing, push it into the cache, and then return just the .info file back to the client. Same thing for the zip and the mod endpoints as well. So that's that. The next one after that, there's a really messy PR open for this now that I'm going to clean up after 291 is merged. That PR is going to fill in all those endpoints to actually do the synchronous fill. And then, like we were just talking about, Maron, the rest is going to be cleanup. It's going to be removing the async filler stuff that we were just talking about, removing the code in PKG repo that is not used. And there will probably be some test things that I'll volunteer to do. And then also that list endpoint that you were talking about, we'll get that in. I think that can probably go in like whenever. It doesn't have to be in this order.
Yes, I agree. I just realized that I may not need your PR to go in for the list thing. So I'm actually going to close the PR I have open, and I'm just going to open a new one because for now we don't need to use the GitHub API at all. If we have GoGet working for us, it'll take care of all the cases.
Sweet. Yeah, I've gotten on that topic. I've gotten Russ has told me that he thinks it's probably a good idea for us to use the CLI as much as possible so that we don't have to keep updating a dependency on some, right now all the packages we need are in internal, like you said. But like, let's say they weren't, we would have to then keep upgrading our dependency to like the newest thing in the Go command. So the path that he recommended taking was for us to request features in the Go CLI, and then just install a Go CLI in whatever server the proxy is running on. So it's a little, like, it's not the most ideal thing that, in my opinion, but I think it's the easiest for us because we can push a lot of the, obviously the VCS stuff, but also push like the parsing verification stuff as well.
I agree. I think that's probably a good idea. And I've actually followed a few of the issues that have been back and forth about like things going into the CLI. So I have a couple of questions. Let me try to phrase them in a row so they're not like totally not related. One is for your PR. I guess we could mostly talk in the PR, but I do have one question about when you're fetching .info or .mod. I see that you're clearing things. So maybe is the fetcher interface gonna kind of always gonna remove things once the operation is done? And if so, is that gonna be okay? And I guess the second one is, what happens when we concurrently try to fetch the same thing from Big Kahuna, basically?
Yeah.
But that, I think we can probably just talk in the PR unless you have sort of like an idea, or we could just maybe test it out once it's merged in because,
Yeah. I think I can give like my off the top of the head thing, but I think let's talk in the PR and then obviously test it out, because I don't see a reason the concurrency thing would be a problem. The reason we're clearing, I'm not sure. Maybe that might be wrong. I have no idea actually. So yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. So, no, that's totally fine, because I saw there's an issue in Go, which I don't remember the number of, where you and Russ agreed to have a Go CLI command to really just fetch .info or just to fetch the Go mod part without having to, clone the entire repo or even create a dummy module for things to work, which I kind of have to do now even for the Go list part. So for those who don't know, if you just need to get from the Go CLI the upstream versions, for, let's say, package errors, right? You have to be in the working directory of a random module, which makes no sense because you don't need to really be in any working directory of any Go related thing just to say, what are the tags of some repo somewhere upstream, right? There are other things that we might have to take care of that the CLI maybe does or doesn't, which is there's another issue that was recently opened about plus incompatible to tag versions. We might actually have to remove that for now. So I'll add a comment maybe to the PR as well to say we'll probably run into this really soon when we start testing this, because if there is a tag that is above 2 or 3, above 1 basically, and the import path does not have v2 or v3, Go recently added a commit where it appends to the tag plus incompatible. And so if we try to do like vgo get that tag with plus incompatible, it's not going to find it. That might actually already be fixed, and that go get itself could remove it for us. So we'll see in the testing, I guess.
I saw your comment on that Go issue in the vgo tag 26577. I think that we should, you ask like, would this be in the scope? I think it should be in the scope to have list work as well.
Yeah.
Because the one that I put in the OP was basically like, can we make go get just not require that you're in a module directory, and ideally do whatever it needs to do on the back end, and then just spit out a zip, a mod, and an info would be great. But I think it'd be totally reasonable and easy to add some way, like maybe it dumps the versions to a file, or maybe Go list just sends them to standard out or whatever. Like that would complete the whole picture for us in terms of the endpoints we have to build.
Yeah, for sure. I think the Go mod and Go info part is a little hackier. The Go list, it's not the biggest deal. I just created a dummy temp directory. Then, that wasn't, because I don't even need Go path or anything set up. So as far as I know. But anyway, yeah. So we'll follow that issue and hopefully get that resolved soon.
Awesome. Cool.
Great.
That was the end of my bullet point. Do other people have stuff they want to add? Questions, comments, anything like that?
Quick question about the CLI stuff. How concurrently will we be calling the CLI at any one time?
It depends on the number of concurrent requests, really, and kind of multiply that by the number of packages that don't already exist in the cache. So what we will do after we get this synchronous stuff, we just play and check the cache, and then naively if it's not in the cache, we just do a go get on the back end, and we do the go get into like a brand new go path for each individual request, and then we fill the cache and return. So in the naive implementation, it's number of servers times number of requests for times number of users concurrently requesting for a module that doesn't exist in the cache. And we're going to cut that down. There's an issue for this out there. We're going to cut that down to one by basically serializing cache fills across the whole distributed cluster.
That makes sense. Yeah, I was wondering about that.
Yeah. But I know on a single host, as long as we do a go-get into a brand new go path that no other go-get is concurrently executing in, we're okay. There's a concurrent. Marwan, you told me about a concurrency bug when you do two in the same go path, I think.
Did I say that? I'm not sure.
Yeah. Someone said that. I thought it was you. Take the credit.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you do so two go-gets of two unrelated packages or two go-gets of the same package?
I think it was two go-gets of unrelated packages into the same go path.
I did not know that. That
Oh,
would be an interesting thing to find out.
Maybe you did know that, and then you told me, and you're too smart to even remember all the things you know. There, that's, yeah. So yeah, that's, and then like, you know, I have all these evil master plans to do like a crawler and to get people to publish to us and blah, blah, blah. I won't go down that rabbit hole. We've been down that, I think. But I won't go down it again.
Sounds good.
Cool. Other questions, comments? Okay.
Welcome to all the new people. I don't know if this is your first time or.
Oh yeah.
And we're on Slack if you're not there already.
Come join us. Do new people? Go ahead, Aaron. Sorry.
A very brief one. You're talking about a crawler and so forth. Would it be that you could have a webhook that people ping that lets you know that you've pushed something new to let's say a repo or something, and then that triggers the pull?
Yeah.
That's cool.
That would be awesome.
It's exactly that.
Yeah. I think like we could probably roll that out like now-ish. We'll probably have to have both for a long time because people are used to just like pushing to GitHub and then that the package is available from GoGet. But eventually it'd be amazing if people can do a webhook, or even we give them tooling to push directly to the registry. And either way, especially for the one that, let's say they're just the one that they can push directly, then they can do things like have, they can tell us that they want like a vanity domain name, or sorry, a vanity module name instead of the github.com/whatever module name. And it's a vain thing because it's whatever, but it might be nice, like a nice feature to have. Cool. Well, same time, same place next week. See you all there. And yeah, welcome again to all the new folks. We hang out in the Athens, #Athens Slack on the Gopher Slack. So come join us if you're not already. All right.
All right. Next time.
See you guys.